Baby, I'm the gamble of your life. Why you always gotta think twice? We could go at it all night till the morning till you can't even go no more.
All right, so my favorite Aaron Rodgers throw of the year was the Detroit game, Lazard and the touchdown that you dropped over the shoulder, right down here.
Yeah.
All right, what is the Aaron Rodgers favorite throw of the first 7 games this year? That one? Pick mine.
No, I do like that one, especially because he kind of bobbled it, which allowed him to get a touchdown, his first touchdown. But I threw a little left-handed one to Trey in the Dallas game. I was kind of getting grabbed and just kind of was able to get one out and keep a positive play. Not too many left-handed completions over the years.
I thought Mahomes was the only guy who threw left-handed.
That was pretty impressive, that one. Mine was more like a shot put, but it avoided a little sack there. So
It's all right, good. I like a definitive answer. I thought watching the feed come in from here on Sunday that it was really cool that when Matt LaFleur gave you the game ball, all the guys like came around to you like you were a rookie getting your first game ball and kind of made you in the dog pile. There's joy in that locker room. When's the last time you felt that kind of energy around you and what you're doing?
Well, I think I'd have to go back to when I was a younger player. I think there's just such a young energy about this team. When you do things for so long, there's almost an expectation.
Right.
And we just have so many new guys who haven't seen me play a whole lot over the years. It's a new staff who hasn't, been in the same locker room or meeting rooms or on the field at Lambeau here and seen that. I think that's one part of it. The other part is, we just really enjoy each other. This is one of the closest teams we've had, and definitely one of the closest teams that we've had in a long time. It's just a new energy. There's an excitement. The guys are having fun. I mean, the end zone dances now and the celebrations, especially our defense. Offense, we got to figure out a way to celebrate like they can together. But it's been fun to see guys come together and genuinely enjoy working together.
I thought it was cool too when Matt LaFleur said, hey, the old man even ran one in. It was just kind of a really neat moment, plus some stuff on the sideline with you guys. I want 5 touchdowns and the back and forth between you two. How has that relationship with your new coach grown?
Yeah, it's been great. I think a lot of people wanted to write about stuff or make conjectures about how it was going to be, and those opinions never affected our relationship. It was actually better for us because we would laugh about every, supposed interaction or conjectures about how we're going to work together or not work together. We laughed all along the way, and we had a lot of fun with it. And, he's got to be careful, old man, because he's only about 4 years older than I am.
No kidding.
But that's the fun part. I look around the QB room, and I got 3 coaches in their 30s in there.
Right.
And not much older than I am. I think I'm older than my quarterback coach. And we've had a lot of fun together. Yeah. It changes the dynamic. I think it's been a great reset for me. Kind of reset with new challenges and new goals and stretching me as far as you have to learn how to communicate with a new staff.
Sure.
And it's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun together, and Nate Hackett has been a big part of loosening Matt up and seeing that personality come out, and we've had a lot of fun together.
So 14 years, you kind of did it, I don't want to say one way, but the offensive system was pretty similar. And I don't know football-wise how different this system is, but what is the challenge of new chapter in your football career do for somebody at this point in your life?
Well, I think it can make you a little bitter or it can make you better. And I think it's helped me to get better in a number of areas. I think it's, like I said, it's reset kind of the challenge button there, and you find out new ways to grow and improve, learn how to communicate. It's a brand new language. You got to learn new signals and new concepts and positive pictures in your head. So that's been a lot of fun. I enjoy that part of it, the intelligence part of it, and trying to beat your opponent each week, Monday through Saturday. It's been great, the collaboration process, the preparation process, going through it each week with Matt and with Nate and with Luke, and it's been fun. Like I said, I love not just what the staff has brought, but the acquisitions. I think we've brought in some hungry guys, and it's just changed kind of the fun meter in the locker room. The guys are really enjoying each other a lot.
But you had to set that tone. Well, let's face it, you're the face of the franchise, you know that. And things around you start changing, and you've done it in a way that has worked to put a championship year up on that board. So you know, there's a way I know how to do this. Was there any self-discovery in the off season of, you know what, I got to bring the energy and show the passion to make this thing work?
Well, I don't know if it was that exactly. I feel like I've known that, you know, when you follow a legend and you really watch intently, you realize how important your daily attitude, enthusiasm that you bring to the workplace, to the practice field, how important that is to make sure you have a positive day. For me, it was, I think, again, just a new opportunity to kind of step back and realize what my place was going to be on this squad and really what those guys needed. And then to show the new staff and the new players, you know, what I was all about. It's kind of like when and I've mentioned this at times, I felt like a first-year starter at times because the system is so new. But at the same time, these guys who haven't played with me are getting a feel of what my leadership is all about. And so for me, a great opportunity to be authentically myself and to let those guys get a great feel about what to expect from me in the locker room, in the meeting rooms, on the field pregame, in the huddle. And that to me is the best part about all this. You know, it was like first day of school, day one, and every day has been better since that.
The receivers, you know, I see Jordy at games and he's sitting up in a box watching the game, and I turn on TV and I'll see James Jones and Greg Jennings. Like, those are the guys you threw most of your touchdowns to. And now there's a whole bunch of guys who, other than Devontae, especially the guys who've stepped up while injured, most of us didn't know. What has been the key for you bringing them along as you're learning the system too, to get them to be trusted by you?
Well, communication first. We got to get on the same page, and they need to understand exactly how I want them to run routes and timing and everything. And then accountability. You know, I think that's been something that's always been a part of our environment, and my leadership style is holding guys to a high standard. Because I think deep down, each person really desires that. They desire to be held to a standard that even might exceed their own thoughts about their personal abilities. And I think that's how you can instill confidence in guys, is when you hold them to a standard that maybe they didn't even know that they could reach. And it's been fun to see these guys gain confidence each week in practice and then get an opportunity on the field and make plays. You know, with Alan Lazard against Detroit, basically, you know, asked for, you know, a little bit of PT for him in the fourth quarter, and he goes out and makes plays. Jake Kumro, who was, a preseason star for us last year, got hurt running in the end zone down there, misses most of the season, finishes the season really well. Hasn't been playing a lot to start the season, and he goes out and makes a bunch of big plays last week. That's been the fun thing to watch, and it's a good group of guys. You know, it's fun guys to go to work with. They listen. We're trying to ease up on any type of sir reference to me, because that makes me feel even older. But it's a young crew, and you really got to communicate with them in ways they can understand.
But that's what I was curious about. I mean, you got a guy who was at Wisconsin Whitewater a few years ago, while you're setting records here. How do you try to help them deal with the, oh my God, that's Aaron Rodgers? That, like, he's not on TV, he's in my locker room now, and he's throwing me the ball. Do you try to help them?
Well, I think that goes away pretty quickly when they get to know my personality. I like to cut up and joke around, and but a lot of these guys watched me win a Super Bowl when they were in junior high or maybe just starting high school.
They ever tell you about that?
Yeah. That's when I feel really old. You know, I remember watching you on the draft. I was 8 years old. I'm like, Jesus. You know, if I'm fortunate enough, I'm guessing I played with and threw a touchdown, many touchdowns. But I watched the first guy born in the 90s score a touchdown on this field, Randall Cobb, and I'm sure I'll play with some kids born in the 2000s, which will be really interesting, and if I can play that long. But you know, it's just about leadership and relating to people is all about finding out what's important to them.
Right.
And that's the fun part of the off season, is getting to know guys and seeing what their interests are. And hopefully it's more than just playing Fortnite every night when they go home.
How do you interact with them? How do you try to be conversational in the language that they all use, which is a little different?
Well, again, you have to understand what's important to them, and it's those times at the lunch table or out to dinner or whatever it might be, where you just learn about them, and I think memory is also important. Mm-hmm. You know, like if you can remember certain things about people, it empowers them that you're important and that you are important to them. And so remembering whether it's kids' names or significant others' names or birthdays or whatever it might be, or giving them a nickname, that's a connection point that I think every older player has to find with the younger player, because it kind of breaks down the age barrier and lets them know how important they are to you.
And you've watched Brett do that when you got here, and you talked, I'm sure Peyton and Tom have done the same thing. That quarterback relationship I always find is pretty cool, because you're not management, but you're darn close. You know, you got to have a special relationship with the owner, the GM, the coach, and at the same time, when these guys come in the locker room or off the practice squad, you got to be their pal as well. So that relationship building from the quarterback probably as important as anything else on a football team.
I think it's extremely important to the health of the locker room, you know, that especially on our side of the ball, that the guys feel like they're a part of it. And I will say one of the things that's been really important that this staff has done, I think, is really establish roles. Because I feel like when a person feels like they have a role on the offense, it empowers them to buy in even more to the scheme, to that specific play, and to the responsibility on the field. And I think we've done a really good job at that. And I really, that's what leadership is all about. It's about inspiring people to give more of themselves, to buy in, to shed their ego and set it aside in the interests of everybody winning. Right. And I think we've all had to do that this year, and because we've done that, I think it's brought us a lot closer than maybe we expected.
You've been really consistent at your press conferences, calling out the offensive line, 6 sacks in 7 games, the defense and the playmaking that they've achieved, and the running game that's established. How much of a burden do you feel is off of you now, that you don't have to be Houdini every snap and make up plays and keep this offense alive somehow?
Well, I want to be Houdini. I want to be
do?
Houdini as long as I can. I want to keep playing the way I play, but I think it's important that those guys see it or hear it, how much it means to me, the contributions. The offensive line doesn't get a lot of credit. They need to hear it from me. And those press conferences go a long way. And I know what I'm doing. And I know it's important that they hear it consistently, and the message is consistent with who I think is really helping us win games. I know my responsibility and my role and the expectations that guys have on me to play well each week. I have the same for myself. But I think over the years, there's been too much focus on what we're doing on offense and what I'm doing, and I wanted to highlight how important those other areas have been to us winning, especially defense. And I think for years, the defense may have had a chip on their shoulder that we were referred to as an offensive team.
Right.
I hope they know that that's not how any of us looks at it, and little reminders like that in a press conference, I think, can go a long way.
You even said earlier in the year the defense is playing at this high level. They're helping win, they're winning games for us. We've got to bring our level as an offense up to get to a greatness as a team. What does that look like in the second half of the year?
Well, it's not just the defense. I think we've had some game-winning punts as well. I mean, JK has been great, and obviously I love our kicker Mason. He's been very solid for us. But it's about growth. You know, I think we've grown a lot on offense since the first couple of weeks where we didn't really move the ball that well. Now, we played a couple of really good defenses who, you know, Chicago and Minnesota, who are shutting people down pretty consistently. But we do expect more from ourselves, and I think you've seen the growth of the offense schematically has really synced up with the growth of our production. And that's been fun to see, but it's about consistency in this league. And I think the good thing that Matt's been really keeping us focused on not being complacent, and how fleeting these feelings can be, and how the season is really all about momentum. And we have a lot right now, but don't buy into the hype, and I think we've done a good job at that.
When you saw that Mahomes got hurt, any part of you disappointed, not just as another quarterback, but the chance to go head-to-head against each other?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you play these teams in the AFC once every 4 years. I'm hoping I'll still be around in 4 years. I'm not worried about him being around in 4 years. I mean, he's going to be around for a long time. But I have a ton of respect for his game. I think he's a fantastic player. I enjoy the way he carries himself. I think he speaks really well. And there's a reason they might be trying to phase me out and move him as the new State Farm guy, because he is that guy. And I have a lot of respect and appreciation for his game and the way that he plays. He's a supreme talent.
What part of his game do you like the most?
I mean, I appreciate guys that can extend plays and throw from every platform. You know, I mean, I don't think there's any throw that's too difficult for him, right or left-handed. You know, he's obviously done it all. You know, he's shown his incredible talent. And, you know, I think he's got it all. You know, it's just a matter of you know, putting that ring on that finger and cementing himself.
You've played hurt. He's going to come back at some point and play not at 100%. Tell those of us who've never been there what that is like when you know you're not right, yet you're still trying to be the guy who's held to that standard with the name on your back.
Well, I think you want to be held to that standard. You don't go on the field hoping people maybe don't judge you in the same way because you're not 100%.
He's banged up, right?
No, I mean, any great competitor doesn't deal in you know, built-in excuses. I don't think you revel in those things. It's like, oh, I got something to fall back on.
Right.
You know, if it doesn't go well. I mean, I never thought that last year with my knee or any injury I've experienced and played with over the years. To play on the field is about pride and about being out there with your guys and laying it on the line, knowing you might not be right, but knowing there's other guys in the same huddle with you that are going through stuff as well that they aren't talking about. And I think when the adrenaline kicks in, the pain definitely goes away.
Playing at Arrowhead, you don't get a chance to play at those places but once every 8 years, so it's very rare. What are you looking forward to about that challenge?
Well, 8 years ago we were 13-0, and we went there and got beat.
Right.
I remember how loud it was that day, and obviously how disappointed it was. We'd won 19 in a row at that point, and it was a fun run that we were on and a great season for us. So hopefully leaving that stadium with a little better feeling than last time. But I have a ton of respect for those fans. They're, you know, as loud as you see in the NFL. I think, you know, as far as open air stadiums go, you know, there in Seattle are about two of the toughest places to play. So it's going to be a tough test for us, regardless who's playing quarterback.
So I'm going to stick up for a friend for a second. After a game, when you win, we always like to hear what you have to say at the podium, and you always talk about if it's a good win, maybe you have a bye week, you've earned a good scotch and relax and go enjoy and take the rest of the night off. I got a friend who I worked with at the Indy 500 who, she makes wine, and I think you know her a little bit. Can you give Danica's wine a little bit of, like, you know, love at a press conference here or something?
You sound like
man.
Danica now, yeah. No, I mean, first of all, I have a scotch after a win or a loss.
Okay, either way.
Either way.
Okay.
Either way.
It's a good way to
And
roll.
she does make great wine. She does. But yeah, nothing better than a good scotch after a win.
She's been in your life, and having a friend who has competed in sports at the highest level and lived in the spotlight gives you somebody unique in your life who can relate to some of the things you go through. What kind of value has that been for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, obviously she competed on a professional level at a sport that's extremely demanding, especially from a grind standpoint. She understands what it's like to kind of rinse and repeat and go back to it the next week. You know, they were out like 38 out of 40 weeks, you know, something crazy like that. So just understanding what the week of preparation looks like and what it takes to get yourself mentally ready every single week. And obviously she's a lot of fun to have around and have out here, and she's a great supporter for me.
Lastly, state of the state. We're about halfway. This is almost as good as you could imagine. First half of the season. What are the most important things to get you to meaningful football in December?
Well, first we're in the mix. You know, that's exciting.
And it's a good mix, and there are a bunch of really good teams in this NFC.
Yeah, the NFC's tough. I mean, I feel like it's been tough for the last, 6 or 7 years. We've had some dynamic teams and teams building, and you've seen that. I think the theme is really defense. If you look across the league in the NFC, obviously, the top teams are all playing really, really good defense. But I think it's different over the years. You've had some incredible offensive teams that might not complement each other, or vice versa, some great defenses that don't have the complementary offense. And I think you're seeing some balanced teams who are also pretty nasty on defense, with what the Niners have been doing, and the Saints, how they've been winning, and Teddy playing really well. It's fun to see for him because he's a great guy. And obviously Minnesota's playing really good on both sides of the ball, but has a great defense, and would expect Chicago to get back in the mix too.
Baby, I'm the gamble of your life. Why you always gotta think twice? We could go at it all night till the morning till you can't even go no more. You like it, don't even deny it.